Analysts react to Alex Pereira's victory over Khalil Rountree on UFC 307. The main event certainly delivered, giving fans non-stop violence in what turned out to be a dynamic matchup, with Khalil following up on his promise to stand and trade with Alex instead of shooting for takedowns. And while the contest itself was highly entertaining and earned Rountree some respect from a large portion of fans, the final result of it didn't come as a shock to the public, as Alex was heavily favored to win, and despite Khalil's efforts, the Brazilian's advantage in length and power proved to be overwhelming. The outcome certainly also falls in line with what the UFC prefers in terms of the light heavyweight division as it relates to stability at the top and star power of the champion. There's little doubt about who would be the most dangerous threat to Alex's title, but he has one more fight to get through before getting a shot. With a 12-fight unbeaten streak and a strong wrestling base, Magomed Ankalaev still didn't seem like a good choice for UFC to put against Pereira, and they instead opted to keep the Dagestani fighter busy by matching him up with Alexander Rakic. The reasons for this are obvious. Why risk losing one of your most popular champions against a dangerous wrestler striker who's not so popular, when you can keep matching up the champion with strikers instead? On the other hand, adding more wins to Ankalaev's already impressive streak would only grow interest and demand to see him challenge Pereira, so the brass decided to step over Magomed one more time, giving him another #1 contender fight against Rakic. But for now, Alex shines in the headlines and with a finish of Rountree, solidifies himself as one of the leading stars for the company. Big John McCarthy, Josh Thompson, John and Kenny share thoughts on the UFC 307 main event.
Poatan is still the man, man. It was a very, when I look at it, a very systematic, and I think they were talking, his hands are down and things like that. That's the way he fights. Don't expect him to stick his hands up high. That's not who he is. So it was a systematic and fundamentally well executed game plan of just breaking somebody down with power, and he did after a while. The guy's a stud, man. He is a monster at 205. I don't know how he ever made 185 either. And as I look at him, it's like, how the hell did you make a weight that's 20 pounds less?
Yeah, he was so much bigger too. He was obviously way taller than Khalil.
Oh yeah.
Khalil's obviously the thicker fighter, but man, he just had the reach, the height, all those things to his advantages.
It took a little bit, but by round 3, Khalil was not able to blitz in the same manner that he was before, and he wasn't able to reach him and touch him with the same combinations he was landing before. So I think it was, the dividends paying off with the body shots, with the calf kicks, of course, that lead leg of Khalil, and him adjusting the range, the usage of his jab, John, the use of that cross was something to behold, man. And then finally adding in the sprinkling in of those body shots, which ultimately got him the finish, was just gorgeous.
Dana White wasn't too happy with judging and refereeing that took place for multiple fights at UFC 307. The problem with judging and reffing on UFC events has been there for quite some time. Many instances of Dana publicly bashing officials that acted incompetently during or after contests can be pointed to without even going back in time too much. Unfortunately, the existence of this problem is evident if we just take a look at such examples for a time frame of just 1 year of UFC events. Sometimes it's absurd decisions by judges, when the results go against the consensus of the whole community. Sometimes it's in-cage referees' lack of control of the bout or too much of it. But the worst ones always spark up another round of discussions about the existence of this problem in the sport, and every time, many potential solutions get proposed by fans, reporters, or pundits. But usually, this just dies out with time with no meaningful change. The lack of communication from judges and referees also doesn't help with this issue, and the cycle continues. UFC 307 saw many instances of controversial decisions by refs and judges. On the post-fight press conference, Dana White commented on the one of these that frustrated him the most. Mario Bautista stalling the bout against Jose Aldo with minimal grappling action, with referee enabling it.
I always think that the referee should be more active on that, 100%, especially when somebody keeps doing it to stall. And you guys aren't going to fucking let up on this, are you? I guess we'll get into it. I don't know if you're judging on a guy, whether it's control, if it's this or that, if you're not trying to fight, how do you win the fight, right? And if you're looking at attempted takedowns, well, what about stuffing the takedowns? Madness.
There is a difference between offensive grappling and just wasting time.
100%.
And it's not just the referees that need to recognize that, but clearly the judges as well.
When you can tell that the guy definitely doesn't want to stand and strike and just wants to stall against the fence. Yes, the refs, that's their job. They're supposed to see it. When they see it continually happening and that the guy is not trying to win the fight, then you keep breaking them up.
Magomed Ankalaev is ready to prove he's the best light heavyweight in the world, and he let Alex Pereira know that he's coming for the Brazilian's belt and his head after the UFC 307 event. Ankalaev was in attendance for Alex's title defense against Roundtree, and according to him, he ran into Alex backstage immediately following the main event, and the two had a heated exchange of words. Speaking with a Russian channel, Ushatayka, Magomed revealed that he had been planning to confront Alex for a long time and wanted to get into his head, while also creating buzz around the matchup, as he's learned it the hard way that a winning streak only isn't enough to be guaranteed a title shot. Quote, "It was everything that I expected. I knew he was going to win this fight. There was nothing new in his fighting style or ability. I don't even understand why so many fans are so impressed by this guy. Yes, he finishes guys and is a good striker, but look at who his opponents are and how they fight, judge their ability. I love strikers like Alex who move forward. Their style is just perfect for me. My counter-striking ability alongside my wrestling guarantees my victory. It's not even a question. I am confident I would finish him while striking. I won't even need to wrestle, but it's always in my back pocket. I wanted to get into the cage tonight, but they wouldn't let me. So managed to find him backstage and told him I'm coming for his belt and to take his head off. He mumbled something in his language, and I got closer, but then everyone rushed in between us and separated us." CHAEL SONNEN challenges the narrative about Jon Jones's intent to fight or duck Tom that's been prevalent among fans lately, primarily on social media. While it is not surprising that with UFC's growth and the introduction of new fans to the sport, the amount of enthusiasts who have no comprehensive understanding of most parts of its substance, including the weight and meaning of achievement that some fighters hold, has also increased. Amount of nonsensical commentary about Bones' accolades and fighting ability is still humorously high. From claims about Jon being afraid to fight Tom Aspinall to attempts of degrading his exceptional achievements, the trend seems to continue. One of these claims is that Jon is only fighting Stipe and not committing to the Tom fight because he is either afraid of fighting Tom or knows that he can't win and is choosing to beat an old washed-up former champion on his way out. CHAEL SONNEN shares his thoughts on this and offers a more realistic alternative view for the situation.
Jon Jones is realizing that if he wants his focus on Stipe and he doesn't want to overlook him, he has to block out Aspinall. That's all that's happening here. Your belief that Jon has said he won't fight Aspinall, I challenge you to find that interview. Jon has let us know he's going to defend the belt at the Garden in November. And he's not promising to anything other than that. And I think that's the right mindset.